All right. So you didn't book the rooms. You spoke to him that day.
Mhm.
Where were where were you that afternoon? Where were you when you heard the news about JDF?
So it's gonna have to give me.
Take your time. Take your time.
Um, remember I spoke to him Friday, like around 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock my time. So like 2 o'clock his time, 3 o'clock his time, right?
Yeah.
Um, and the last thing he told me was he was gonna call my son for his birthday.
Birthday.
Um, it was a busy day. I literally, uh, I decided to do a party for my son, like a small thing, and I was literally singing "Happy Birthday" to my son when I got the call from his agent about his passing. It was I didn't. She just told me like, "Oh, have you heard from Jason?" And I was like, "Oh, not today." I kind of, it sucks because I was kind of like, "Well, that's weird." He didn't call my baby. He usually is really on point. Um, but I just thought maybe he was busy or he'll call later in the night because he knew I was doing a party. And his agent tells me, "Hey, have you heard from Jason or his phone?" And I'm like, "No." She said he was gonna call the baby, but he hasn't yet. That's exactly what I told her. And she's like, "Well, I heard something," and I was like, "What do you mean? What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, I heard that he got hurt," and I was immediately thought he got into a motorcycle accident because he was riding. So I was like, "Is he okay?" And she's like, "No," and I was like, "Okay, so." Like I'm going through like a thousand things. I'm like, well, is he in the hospital? And she's like, "No, I heard he died." And I fainted, like my knees buckled, I dropped. I just didn't expect that. And then I tried calling everyone to confirm. Of course, they didn't pick up, but then I got confirmation, unfortunately.
Who did you get confirmation from?
Um, his best friend told me, and you have to understand, like a lot of, I was getting constant calls, like every 20 minutes from a news outlet, um, who probably had my number from prior thing with Jason, right? Um, so I know that they were constantly calling me, but at some point I was just, remember, I'm like grieving. I had to end the part. Like I kicked everyone out of my house. To be honest, like I couldn't even function. So, you know, my neighbor, he works for like the media, this entertainment. He works for Love and Hip Hop and stuff like that, and he sat me down because I'm like, I don't believe it. It's not like it's a lie. Like I'm like, it's a lie. He's not gone. And he's like, "Francis, usually when TMZ says something, they're just calling to confirm, but they already know it's the truth." And I'm like, no, I was in shock. I didn't believe it. And his agent called me again and told me I had already confirmed with his best friend. Um, and his agent called me later and told me about the second story that was being run
About the arguing?
about the argument. So TMZ was trying to contact me directly, but I wasn't picking up because who am I to speak on his death when his family hadn't spoken on his death? So I remember I told the agent, like, they keep blowing up my phone. I can't, like, I don't want anyone calling me. Can you please just tell them to leave me alone? Um, and his agent was very gracious and very helping. She helped me a lot, and she's like, "Well, I have something to tell you before it's printed because I know it's going to affect you." And she told me the story, and she's like, That's what they were calling me. So TMZ wanted to tell me the story before they published it.
To get you to comment on it.
Exactly.
Okay.